Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's Ducksoup Gaming League match. Specifically tonight, we're actually an hour later than usual. There were some reschedules from yesterday and a little bit of shenanigans going on today with attempting to get matches happening. Thankfully, we have been able to hop onto one of those matches, and now we'll bring you live to Ducks Unlimited versus the Hood Rats. The draft has already begun, so without further ado, let's hop in here. Already, I'd almost say the most stereotypical. This has got to be the most stereotypical bands I have ever seen on the face of Dota 2. Batrider, IO, Nake's Lifestealer, and Darkseer. That's so usual. That's what I'm going to describe that as. Like,
Radiant
that's just
team
so usual to see that combination of bands coming out the door immediately, and I don't really blame them. No one really wants to play against a Lifestealer. No one really wants to play against a good Batrider. So in this situation, with the bans that have occurred, I like it. Now, looking at the actual heroes that have been picked so far, we do have Razor Chen
Radiant
for,
team
Ducks Unlimited, and they just failed to place their names again. Snicker. Over on the side of Hood Rats, though, we do have Outworld Devourer and Rubik. Early on, though, I did forget to mention my co-caster Kendom was unable to make it this evening. I hope in the future he will be able to come to us live, but for now, we're going to be missing Kendom for the night. It's just going to be me with the solo. Back on it, though, we do still have OD Rubik as the pickups. Now the next set of bands as well coming out, and I like this OD band. It's always nice to see an OD because you had intelligence. No, you don't have intelligence anymore. I am OD. You don't get intelligence, and if you do get intelligence, I get to punish you for it. Then again, they also had the Rubik pickup. Rubik. Yay! I love Rubik. I consider him to be one of the most versatile supports. I get to say it over and over again as a caster. Rubik, his spell steal is so useful in almost every situation possible. So seeing a Rubik out in the field, knowing that there's going to be a Rubik, I think that is great.
10 seconds
Over
remaining.
on the other side of things, we do have Razor and Chen. Chen, of course, going to be our jungling hero here. Chen. Walk out of the jungle with an army of creeps. He's kind of like anti-mage in that sense of, he goes into the jungle and then he comes back out and no one sees him coming. It's just anti-mage. He comes out all farmed and buffed. Unfortunately, Chen can't do it quite to that degree, but Chen still comes out with creeps, and if he plays it right, he can really play it to the strengths of his team. It just depends on what creeps he picks up in the jungle. Razor as a pickup, I love seeing Razor as well. Just static link. Oh, it's brutal against everything. Not even include your carry, you thought he did damage. Guess what? Your carry, he doesn't do damage anymore. That's what static link does. It just says, nope, no damage for you, go away. Thankfully, OD is great at doing lots of damage. So if you don't get off a static link and you don't make it happen and make it work, it could go very poorly for Razor if he gets focused down in the beginning of the fight. Then again, he is going to be acting as their mid carry in all likelihood, so it just depends on whatever pickups we're going to see in the future for these two teams. The bans have also been occurring. Next up, for Ducks Unlimited, Alki and Coddle going to get banned out. Alchemist and Keeper of Light, that is. Over on the side of Hood Rats, Lone Druid being quickly followed up by a Nature's Prophet, because just the split push capability of Nature's Prophet. That is why you ban Nature's Prophet. When you're facing a team that has any split push capability initially, you want to get that Nature's Prophet to deny them that split push capability. And Chen and Nature's Prophet, they do go well together. Chen brings in the creeps, then the Treants as well, and all of a sudden you have basically the equivalent of an entire wave of creeps pushing your tower simultaneously. They will take a lot of flack for the actual creep wave. So combining a Chen and a Nature's Prophet, the only way this could get any more interesting is if we saw a Pudge pickup for Ducks Unlimited here. So we could have Fountain Hooks. Oh, come on, who doesn't want to see Fountain Hooks? Fountain Hooks are a requirement for liking Dota 2. If you don't like Fountain Hooks, I don't know. I don't think I could convince you to like Fountain Hooks if you don't like Fountain Hooks to begin with. But moving on to our next few pickups here, Ducks Unlimited currently picking on their next hero. Previously, their pickup was Gyrocopter, so they are going to pick up their second, well, what could be a carry, but they could use Gyrocopter in other situations as well. Commonly, in almost all situations, you see Gyro as a carry, but he does fulfill other roles as well. He has Rocket Barrage, he has Flat Cannon, he does a lot of damage. You combine that with Call Down, and it can have a lot of synergy with other members of his team. It just depends on the amount of lockdown that they get. Because right now, unfortunately, that's one thing this team is kind of lacking. Ducks Unlimited doesn't have a lot of lockdown on their team. I mean, by not a lot, I mean pretty much zip. And that's a great solution, actually. The Jakiro pickup. Love it. I love the Jakiro pickup. Ice Path right into anything. Lockdown. 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 That's the name of Jakiro in this game. Ice Path makes a great deterrent. It's like Fissure in the sense of it blocks pathways if you use it right. But guess what? Not only does it block their pathway, but it only semi-blocks their pathway. So pathing will still go through it. If they tell it to run through it, they'll run through it, and then they'll get frozen. No. That's not what you want to do if you're the team playing against a Jakiro here, and that's why he's so powerful as a support hero, besides the fact that he has abilities that allow him to do a lot of damage very quickly if he does it right. Either way, looking over at the other two pickups, Nyx Assassin and Timbersaw, and this is... Nyx Assassin, in my opinion, was more of the interesting pickup, especially now they've picked up a Timbersaw as well. They could put the Timbersaw in a multitude of locations, but they already have an OD. So you don't want to put the OD anywhere but mid, and you don't want to put the Timbersaw anywhere but off lane in this situation. You want to have the Nyx Assassin and the Rubik supporting safe lane, but now you've already got OD as your carry, so what are you going to get to be mid, or to be safe lane carry? Or just safe lane in general, because that's what they're going to be looking to pick up right now. And a Weaver ban is actually the final ban out. Apparently they're not expecting Timbersaw or Nyx Assassin to play the offlane, and they're thinking Hood Rats are still going to go for an offlane pickup. And if it is, as a caster, I think I would see that as being very surprising if Hood Rats went for an offlane final pickup here, especially when they have a Timbersaw and a Nyx Assassin already. I mean, yes, Timbersaw, he does a gargantuan amount of DPS once he gets online, and that's the thing about Timbersaw. He has Timber Chain. If he's, I mean, you stun him, okay, he'll just Timber Chain away as soon as he's not stunned. You do anything else to him, he'll just Timber Chain away. That's why he's an effective offlane. The same theory kind of applies to Darkseer and to Abaddon in the sense that Darkseer, Surge, gone, doesn't matter. Abaddon, okay, shield, ult if necessary, boom, you can't kill me, bye-bye. Okay, are you going to tower dive me? Are you going to tower dive to try and kill a Darkseer? Are you going to tower dive to try and kill an Abaddon? Hell no, you're not. You don't want to mess with them behind their own tower, so you're not going to. It's almost simple as that with that situation. So, I don't agree with the Weaver ban out. I really don't right now. I think they weren't going for a Weaver, and that banning out the Weaver was almost a waste of a ban in the situation. Plus, they only have 30 seconds left on their overtime now, so they're kind of scrambling for their own pickup. Bounty Hunter also getting banned out. And this is where the fun really begins if you are Ducks Unlimited, because you banned a Weaver, you banned an Alki, which isn't really an offlaner, but I mean, I've seen an offlane Alki. It's one of the weirdest things you could ever see. Either way, they banned Nature's Prophet, they banned Bounty Hunter, they banned Darkseer. They've been banning offlaners the entire bloody game. And it looks like they are going to go with a Clockwork as their final pickup to kind of get around the ban of offlaners that has been occurring this entire time. So now what the final pickup for Hood Rats is going to be, well, that is a very good question. I still say they're going to be looking to pick up a safe lane carry of some sort. Timbersaw, once he gets online early game, or mid game more correctly, once he gets online early mid game, he's going to fall off late game, and that's the disappointment of Timbersaw. But you have OD as well. So what they're looking for more right now is going to be a semi-carry, to carry them through the moments when OD is having problems, when OD is unable to come in and just get the perfect Sanity's Eclipse, when he's unable to come in and be the raw and pure DPS that OD is capable of being. And so now with 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining on their reserve time, they have all the time in the world to sit back, relax, and watch as Ducks Unlimited sweats their pants wondering what the fuck they're gonna pick. As per synergy, like as per what hero they could pick, well, that number is just about infinite. But since they're looking for more of a semi-carry, it can vary. They're not going to be looking for any pure carries. They're not going to be looking for Drow Ranger. What they could look for, well, that's another question that's, I mean, right off the top of my head, that's just a wide range of heroes in its own regard. So what they could be going for, right now, it's up to Hood Rats. They're deciding what good synergies they can go with. What do they have? Like, they have Impale from Nyx. They have raw DPS from both OD and Timbersaw. They have Initiation from Timbersaw. So they're not really looking for Initiation. They could look for Lockdown of some sort, since only Rubik and Nyx Assassin actually have that Lockdown right now. Nyx has his Impale, Rubik has Telekinesis, and OD as well. OD does have Astral Imprisonment, so if need be, he can lock them down and set them up for that gank. Quickly followed, of course, by Rubik Telekinesis and Nyx Assassin Impale. And, you know, Timbersaw just coming in and wrecking everyone's day. I would still say, though, that even though they have those 3 spells, and oh, Spectre! Spectre. They're not going for a semi-carry. They're going to go the most pure carry you can possibly go. And now this team composition, looking at this as a caster, I have to say this is actually a weird team composition. They have 2 hard carries on their team. They have OD and Spectre on the exact same team. That's a little bit unusual. Thankfully, they do have their 2 supports. They're going to have Timbersaw most likely go offlane, act as an offlaner here, and they're going to have Nyx Assassin Rubik acting as their supports. And as we know, Nyx Assassin, he's not a very lane-happy support, so he's going to stay in lane for an amount of time, but past that, he's going to get out of lane. He's going to get out there, he's going to roam, he's going to look for ganks, and that's exactly what you need your Nyx to be doing right out the door. He doesn't need to be sitting in the lane, especially once Spectre says, I feel safe. Spectre should be gone. Just gone. That's the simple answer to it. Now, looking over to the Dire, I mean, they have their Ducks Unlimited, they have their own strengths right now. They have a Clockwork in their offlane. Once he gets level 6, he's going to have his own initiation power that's just unrivaled by most heroes. He chains in, or hook shots in, and then it quickly follows it with a battery assault and power cogs. Boom. Not only are you dealing a ton of damage to the person you just initiated on, but you have not, I mean, you're just so tanky. It's hard to kill a Clockwork mid-game, because he's going to have so much health, so much armor. It's going to be crazy. And, oh my, Sterling Archer is actually setting up what many consider to be an interesting tactic. He is using tangos to forge a pathway. What he's going to do, once the creep wave spawns, it's going to run down, and he's going to cogs, and it's going to be about here, and when he does, it's going to force the creep wave to run out and around, and he's going to continue blocking the wave as much as he can through this entire segment, trying to make it run the maximum distance around, which will completely deny that wave.
The battle begins.
Meanwhile, Timbersaw up here in top lane, just looking to pick up that rune if he can. Instead, it's not going to spawn top, it's an illusion down bot. Chen considers going in on him and decides better of it at the last moment, so nothing going to come of that little engagement. No battle points for you guys. Now, this is going to be the interesting engagement. Mid is going to be an interesting engagement because Razor, as we can see, he picked up Static Link immediately. And that's OD, that's how he gets ganks in mid. He denies you your ability to have mana, and then after he takes away all your mana, he comes in and just deals raw damage with Arcane Orb. He comes in there and makes you regret the fact that you stayed around long enough. Meanwhile, Timbersaw, Chen and Timbersaw are playing a little dance up top here, just trying the rest. Chen, do you not see the Timbersaw? Oh, this is the dance of the players right now. And right now, Jakiro's in the jungle, going to pull this towards the river. He is actually stacking this bot camp. I wonder if they have plans for this bot camp. They're going to try and pull through camp pull. It could be done. I've seen it done before, especially now. Oh, they realize that that's why the pull camp was actually warded in this situation, and do they not have sentry wards? They do not have sentry wards. They have no capability to deward that, so instead they're going to go and try and pull this bot camp, which can't be done. Either way, Jakiro comes in. There's the ice path. Timbersaw just looking for any tree he can. Rocket Rush comes out, but just not fast enough. That's the power of Rocket Barrage right there. It deals so much damage in a short span of time when there's no creeps around you. So Gyrocopter comes in, and they just got a free first blood off of Timbersaw there. His Timber Chain just didn't come out fast enough. He couldn't get far enough down to get the Timber Chain off. He could have Timber Chained onto this tree, actually, and that would have gotten him at least somewhat out of harm's way, but it may not have been enough to save him from Gyrocopter in the end of the day. And right now, already, Gyro is in his lane, and he's got to be feeling pretty safe. First blood right off the bat, and he's almost matching CS with Spectre. Spectre's going to have a little bit easier time farming since he's being supported by a Nyx Assassin and a Rubik. And this is the part where Clockwork can have a lot of fun, because if Rubik comes in, pops that telekinesis, and it's followed up by a Nyx Impale, then that's going to be a very long lockdown time, and that's going to give time for Spectre to come in here and play the game. Meanwhile, Sterling just trying his best, juking around the forest here, trying to deny them from staying in lane, trying to deny them from pulling for that matter. But in the meantime, the problem is he's just not stopping the actual farm Spectre. And right now, that's what they need to stop. Nyx Impale comes out, but nothing's going to come of it. Sterling's able to walk off. And again, that's the survivability of Clockwork. Clockwork is a tank beyond all tanks. But the problem with being a tank beyond all tank is simply in the answer of you don't have a lot of lane authority, especially when you're going against a Rubik and a Spectre and a Nyx Assassin. Spectre's not going to have a lot of early damage to kill you, but the Rubik and the Nyx are going to, especially when the Nyx starts getting levels. It'll become very deadly to be a Clockwork in that situation. And looking at it, Jakiro coming back in. No ice path yet, just going to throw out his liquid fire. Deal just some damage, and by some damage I mean that lovely DPS damage that Timbersaw, he can't deal with it right now. He still has one tango and one salve, but he's going to have to use his final tango here. And looking at it, he's actually killing his own trees right now. Since he's killing his own trees, he's basically denying himself escape routes by doing so. So, not exactly what Timbersaw should be doing, if you ask me. Killing your own escape routes, as an offlaner no less, is generally not a good idea. Meanwhile, Clockwork still hopping around the jungle here, doing his best to be a nuisance. And this is something that should be noted. The Sentry Ward did just run off for the Radiant here, but the Radiant, I mean, he came in, he warded, but he warded in a position that could be seen by that Sentry Ward. It covered the river, it covered down there, and it covered just everything it needed to. And actually, oh, I take that back. It looks like they didn't actually, because the ward is up here, and there's no way Clockwork is coming up there this time. So no, actually, the Sentry Ward's going, or not, the Observer Ward's going to go the way of the safe lane early on. And I'm not going to say that's exactly a mistake on the part of the Dire, simply because Clockwork is Clockwork. He has insane survivability, he has cogs, he has the ability to deny the lane very easily, so Clockwork in no position to worry about beating vision. So far, though, he's got 4 last hits, while Spectre's gotten away with 23 and 5 denies. Clockwork is, or not Clockwork, but Gyro is getting his denies in. He is 19 and 8, so he's not exactly far behind Spectre here, and he's making use of his Flak Cannon, so he's dealing a lot of damage to the lane, and he's dealing a lot of damage in general. Now, Timbersaw starting to back off here, turning around, looking to do whatever he can, just trying to get the farm in, because once Timbersaw gets farm, once he gets those levels, he can start getting items. He's going to start roaming. Timber Chain's going to make him deadly. Timber Chain through anyone, followed by Whirling Death, and once he gets Chakram, that just adds another level of DPS right on top of that, and that's what Timbersaw is renowned for, is just his instantaneous burst DPS. Not only that, but they get a Nyx alongside that. Like, this is one of those funny little situations where I get to point out they have a Nyx and a Timbersaw on the same team. Vendetta in from Nyx, followed by Impale, followed quickly by just pure raw damage. Equals, oh, well, Timbersaw can just Timber Chain in, and suddenly you have almost twice the DPS, and it just becomes the game of getting Nyx Assassin out of there. Timber Chain has a fairly short cooldown, so it's not going to be an issue for Timbersaw. If he Timber Chains in for that kill, he's going to be able to escape from that shortly thereafter. It's going to be a problem for Nyx if he doesn't time his Vendetta right, and he doesn't get the cooldown just right.
Something worse on the way.
That looks like OD comes in and trying to do his best here. He still has that DD room. He's bottling up as fast as he can. Jakiro came in, and now Program Zeta stuck in a very bad situation. Arcane Orb actually not up yet on OD, chasing after that Jakiro. Instead, he grabs the regeneration room, bottling it, and Jakiro is just forced to fall back here. And to be fair, what could have been a kill there is not going to go that way. OD is going to play it safe here. He already got a kill out of that. So I believe that is the smart decision for OD to back off rather than go into that engagement with 1/4 health. He already got the kill on Razor, so he's denying Razor that mid farm. And already he's done that. It's 20 and 5 right now for OD compared to 16 and 3 for Razor. And he just got picked up by Rubik. In comes the Nyx and the Rubik. Impale happens. Telekinesis already occurred. OD just needs that last hit, and there it is. Rubik actually going to get the final hit. Now Chin coming in. Jakiro not far behind. Ice Path comes out. Rubik caught directly in it. OD right there for the support. Sanity's Eclipse is on cooldown. There's the Arcane Orb dealing so much damage. He gets netted by the Chen Creep. Now they're going to go after the Jakiro. Jakiro goes down, and the Chen Creep's now in a bad position if they want to go for that. Instead, Chen Creep just going to back off, and there's going to be no kill from that. Chen Creeps. Don't care about the Chen Creeps, even though they're worth gold. Just don't care. That's going to make it 3-1 in favor of the Hood Rats now, who already have been running away. I mean, with farm, look at this. Spectre right now, he is not only matching denies now, but he is out CSing Gyro in last hits. So this is exactly what Spectre's looking to do here. He is just looking to out-farm Gyro, and right now, he is doing exactly that. Even with Gyro's Black Cannon, Gyro is just not keeping up with this Spectre. He has a problem, he's had the problem of Timbersaw for a while now. Timber's been trying, but he has no bottle, he has no salve, and he has no tangos anymore, so he has no healing capability in lane. And he's going to try and back off, just buy himself some time to heal, but as I said, he no longer has the healing capability that he needs. And instead, he's going to try and deal with his Gyro. Chakram comes out, deals a lot of damage to the Gyro. The Gyro, in the meantime, also has no healing items, so both heroes just going to be forced to back off and play it safe right now. Tower still dealing damage, still throwing out those shots as fast as it can, and that's giving Timbersaw the farm he needs. As long as the lane is pushing in, Timbersaw is getting what he needs. And this is the issue with Gyrocopter Flak Cannon right now for Gyro. The lane is pushing, and I mean, yes, he's getting a lot of farm from it, because Flak Cannon gives him a lot of CS capability. Allows him to kill that wave really, really quickly. But again, it allows him to kill the wave really, really quickly. It allows him to simply annihilate that wave, and that means his own wave is going to push up. And when you're a Gyro who's lacking behind in farm, that is not what you're looking for. Now, in the meantime, Spectre, he's been left alone in lane for quite a while here. The reinforcements now coming in. Oh, that ward catching out the Razor. That's actually a very nice little aggressive ward there. Not only do they have a lane ward here, making it so Spectre can feel safe farming in his lane, now they have another offensive ward. Telekinesis. Oh my god, that telekinesis. He doesn't have a TP. Razor has no TP, and he just got telekinesis up onto the rune spot. That was a beautiful pickup from Rubik there. Absolutely beautiful. Just putting the Razor out of position, and now the Courier is having to waste its time bringing that TP scroll. Not only that, Nyx, he's going to come in here. They don't have high ground vision, though. This is the one issue with this ward. Does it? Might? No, it doesn't. It does not give them this. It doesn't give them high vision. So that's the one issue. Now he's got his TP scroll. Rubik's trying to set it up. He's TPing his way up. They don't have any runes, and now out it he goes. No longer there. They still think he's there, actually. Are they going to go for this? Ward's just arriving? No, Sentry Ward's just arriving. And it looks like, no, they are indeed just going to back off in the end of times. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Timbersaw having to deal with the aggression from Gyro, and now reinforcements arrive to assist Gyro in this, and he's still not far behind, and once again, he is leading in denies above Spectre, and now lane is pushing in. Flak Cannon has been popped. Razor's there for the support. Monteculas here to support, because they're going for the tower by the looks of things. Jakiro with his Ice Path ready at all times. Razor's trying to deal damage to that tower. Unfortunately, the last range creep about to go down. Now reinforcements arriving in the form of a creep wave, and beyond that, Chen coming in. Now in comes the Clockwork. He left his position in that bot lane, so Spectre's going to get just a little bit more free farm, surpassing in kills, or in last hits once again. But again, that tower is trying to take damage. And as we start to leave the laning phase here, we're going to start coming in gold, XP, and the network of heroes. And you know what? Look at what that tower just did for them. Automatically, you see a turnaround in that gold graph. And as soon as it updates, we're going to see an even larger turnaround. And actually, the gold graph already updated. Tower is already on there. So that's what the tower does for you. It's already 0. They had an almost 1,000 gold advantage on the Radiant. Gone. Just like that. And as long as they play, I mean, somewhat aggressively like that, as long as they're pushing lanes, they're in a good position. And that's what they're looking to do here. Oh, Chen Creep just hiding barely around that corner, not going to spot the Razor, and they don't actually have a ward up here to spot them by the top rune. So instead, they're not aware that the entire team is right here, and now the entire team is about to swoop down on them here. This is going to be a day where you certainly don't want to try and push when there is a 5-man stack pushing down your tower. Spectre, though, in the meantime, Spectre is down here, starting to push that lane. Vanguard up on the Spectre, so not only is this now a very, very tanky Spectre, but Spectre's going to have a lot of health going into fights, and that's what Spectre's going to need going into the mid game. When OD, he's not going to be a very tanky hero. At least not early on, if he's going to go and actually perform a carry OD, which he's still doing.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Arcane Orb coming out once again, just clearing that creep wave. Top ward going to wear off here in the next 45 seconds. Still, though, I like this ward coverage from the Radiant. Not only did it give Spectre advanced warning, oh, did it? Oh, dear. If this Spectre gets caught out, this could be bad. Out comes the Breath of Fire. Ice Path just barely missing Spectre. Throws out the dagger, running as fast as he can. Finds the trees, but in comes the missile. The homing missile hits. The stun comes out. So much DPS. Clockwork comes in, and that's a dead Spectre. TP gone wrong, and that homing missile just saving the day there. There was no other lockdown available there. The Ice Path was on cooldown. Razor had no stun. Chen had no stun he could use at the moment. And so that homing missile, if that hadn't been thrown at that moment when they had Vision of Spectre, that would have gone terribly wrong for the Dire here. Instead, Ducksoup going to get away with yet another kill. Ice Path comes out, and You know what? Hoodrat's going to do exactly what they need to do. They are split pushing like crazy too. Timbersaw up here, top lane, pushing. Bottom tower starting to take damage here, and meanwhile mid lane is still getting pushed. Creep wave is almost gone here. Rubik just about there. He's got Sentry Wards if he needs it, and a DD rune on the OT here. They're coming into the tower. Bot tower goes down, and the Dire now are going to have to back off and have an answer to this. They didn't take mid tower, and mid tower's not gone yet. Top tower didn't take a lot of damage, and now they're all just going to TP right on out of here. Except for Chen, who's going to sit in their jungle and be Chen. Because Chen. That's just why. Actually buying his own TP, just walking out there, even though he's going to get spotted by this ward, which only has 20 seconds left. So aggressive lane ward, about to wear off. Hoodrat's about to lose just a little bit more vision. As to that, they do not have any more wards out in the field at the moment. And they do not. Their stock is now gone. They have no available wards to put out at the moment. A little bit of a skirmish happening in mid lane here. Pickup goes out on the Razor. He doesn't have his nuke up at the moment, and he doesn't even need it. Rubik and just Timbersaw come in and kill confirmed instantaneously. Razor dropping like a rock. Creep wave pushing in here. Jakiro, he already cast his Ice Path. It's going to come back up. Or no, he didn't. No, he did not actually cast the Ice Path. But either way, Jakiro, he has the capability if he needs to. Cyclone coming out from the Wild Ring, well, Tornado coming out from the Wild Wing Ripper, gonna start dealing damage to that creep wave, keeping the lane pushed out. But Timbersaw throws out his chopper with so much for that. There's the flare from Clockwork, and just a little bit of a skirmish between the two teams here. Spectre still farming in that bot lane. He's got his phase boots, he's got his Vanguard, now he has his Haunt. He can be anywhere whenever they need him. Gyro, not so much. He's got his Yasha, so he's got the attack speed he needs, and he's getting just a little bit more agility and attack damage from that. And so Gyro, he's going to start becoming a little bit more scary. He's got level 6 of Rocket Barrage already, and level 3 of Black Cannon. In goes the Clockwork, though. Hook shots right onto the Nyx Assassin, gets the Cogs, gets the Black Cannon. Or not Black Cannon, it doesn't even matter. Just instantaneously death for Nyx there. Now Timbersaw trying to get away from this. Homing Missile still following him. Creep Wave as well gets hit by that Homing Missile. Creep Wave going to fall just a little bit longer. In the meantime, oh, that smoke. I think the Creep Wave may have seen it, but the tower is still going down. They're smoking. They're still smoking. Are they going for him? He's running in the trees as fast as he can. Spectre's not going to be here, and he's automatically TPing out. Flare going to miss ever so slightly, and Spectre is just gone. And now that smoke, no matter how amazing it was, they're not going to find anyone in that jungle. Black Cannon comes out once again. The Radiant looking to push the lane here. And looking at this, it's kind of interesting. Gyro, I'd imagine Gyro's going to be building into a Manta style? Or is he just switching off at this point? Indeed, he is just switching off at this point. Looks like he's going to grab his Yasha, and then after that he's going to go straight for a BKB. And considering the heroes he has arrayed against him, if he can deny the telekinesis, if he can deny the Nyx Impale, if he can deny the OD damage, or the OD Sanity Eclipse, well, going into that fight, Gyro's just going to be that much better off. And they only have one really, really hard carry, so Gyro's having to make up for both an OD and a Spectre. But that's the thing. They need to finish this early, and they recognize that. They've pushed 3 towers already. The Radiants are trying to push right through this, and so far they've done just that. And right now, going into this mid-game, we're already at the laning phase, and what this is going to become the game of is the Radiant trying to split push their way out of the Dire, but they need to stop the Dire from pushing towers. The Dire are controlling the pace of this match, and they are controlling it hardcore right now. They have pushed 3 towers down, all T1s and 1 T2 now are gone for the Radiant, so they are slowly but steadily losing map control. Ward coverage, I mean, it's just immaculate right now from Ducks Unlimited. Great jungle vision, great, well, both a little bit of lane vision, but it gives mostly jungle and river vision, and then they have the rune itself covered. What I would have liked to have seen is, I mean, oh god, this ward, so bloody offensive. They have got this jungle vision. At this point, they could just sit they could sit in the Hoodrat's jungle and not even fucking worry. What's the point? Oh, I'm sorry, we have your entire jungle ward. Anyway, Nyx Assassin comes in, goes in on the Jakiro, not exactly expecting that. Timber Chain comes in, shot. Well, the Timber Chain. Either way, now Call Down comes down, dealing a lot of damage to Spectre. Clockwork gonna go down here, Timbersaw still in here, Chen taking damage. There's the Sanity's Eclipse. Gyro having to back out here, Chen gonna be the sacrificial lamb. There's the telekinesis picking up. Chen, he goes down now. Gyro just trying to run away as fast as he can. Phase Boots going to save his life here. TP coming in from Jakiro. And they turn right back around, actually. Ice Path comes out, catching nothing but creeps and no creep, or well, enemy creeps for that matter. And now the Radiant, they have a great position to push this lane. Gyro's going to TP his way out of here, and it's going to be up to the Chiro, all alone against an entire enemy. Well, 4 out of 5 enemies. And Timbersaw, if he gets caught out here, it can go badly. Instead, he gets a very nice Ice Path. He catches both Nyx Assassin and Outworld Devourer. So at this point, they're going to destroy that little push. It's still 9-4, though. And this is one of those weird little situations. I ran into this a few daily casts ago, where even though the Radiant aren't pushing, even though they're not getting towers, and this is where it's going to tell itself, they're still out farming the Dire. And that's exactly what they need to do. Goldgraph is trying, I mean, it had leaned very far in the favor of the Dire, and by very far I mean 3k, but now it's already turned back around. It's almost 0. And the Radiant have a 7.5k XP advantage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
See, this is one of those weird situations where the Radiant aren't pushing,
fortified.
but they're not exactly losing in that sense either. They're not exactly losing team fights either. Ice Path comes out. There's the Chakram landing directly on top of them. Razor taking a lot of damage. Chakram runs out. In comes the Arcane Orb. In comes the call down, but Gyro's already dead. Jakiro trying to run, and he is just gone. And now Clockwork, the only one remaining, running away as fast as he can. He's already been spotted by the Observer Ward. In comes the Spectre. He now has his dagger path. He runs right onto the Clockwork here. Timber chaining from Timbersaw. Clockwork gets his way out of there, but not fast enough. He's going to go down. Timbersaw right there as well. And that's a full team wipe for the Ducks Unlimited. And if they don't push this mid lane, and they are going to push this mid lane, Hood Rats about to take their first T1 tower of the game.
Middle tower is under attack.
So much for not being offensive. Now they're going to go full offensive here, going straight for that second T2 tower as well. Well, for the 2T tower, I should say. Gyro's still down, Clockwork's still down, about to respawn. In comes Jakiro, going to lay down that Ice Path. Is it going to hit just narrowly? It doesn't actually hit the Spectre instead. It only hits the Nyx Assassin. Glyph gets popped on the tower. Jakiro's still trying to do whatever he can. Dual Breath comes out, just trying to push them away from the tower. It does enough. Black Cannon now in for Gyro to clear that creep wave very quickly, and tower T2 is going to be safe here. Meanwhile, the Radiant, they're just going to melt off into the enemy jungle here, and this is the problem. The Dire had immaculate, I mean absolutely immaculate jungle wards right now in the enemy jungle, but what did they have in their own jungle to answer to that? They had nothing. Top rune wasn't warded. Mid lane wasn't warded whatsoever. I mean, this is at least a mid lane ward. It doesn't actually cover the rune, so it could have been better off if we were on this little bush here. But as per that situation, it's still a good ward. It gives the Radiant vision. It returns some map control to them. Right now, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for map control. Spectre just going to run off into the jungle, never to be seen again. Going to TP his way out of here, no problem whatsoever, and this is exactly what Spectre needs to be doing. Early game and even early mid-game, he's not very effective at a team, well, he can be effective team fight, that's why he has that Haunt, and that's why he's so damn scary, is because of Haunt. But his split push capability is really where he shines. He can split push in like that, and then he can dagger into the jungle, TP out, boom, he's gone, his split push is accomplished, and now the Radiant, or more correctly the Dire, Ducks Unlimited, are having to divert even more resources to stopping them from pushing. Call down came in, Clockwork's still alive here, but Gyro got caught out by the Rubik. He gets taken down, Clockwork's still in there, OD about it, deal a ton of damage. Automatically, Gyro dies, Chen pops his heal, Timber Chain just out of the way of that Ice Path at the very last moments. Now, heal coming out, it looks like, yes, Rubik was able to steal the Hand of God, so heal's coming out for the Radiant team now. Chakram comes out once again, clearing the trees just a little bit more. Tower's taking damage. She's got the here. Ice Path comes out. They catch 2. In comes the OD. There's the Astral Imprisonment. Shen dies the Arcane Orb almost instantaneously. Jakiro can't even run, dying brutally to Outworld Devourer here. And now the tower is dying and dropping like a rock, and that is T2 gone. The Radiant are turning this around. It is 18-4 now. They may have been losing towers like crazy, but they have won the war of farm. OD and Spectre still out farming the Gyrocopter. And I mean, Timbersaw even joining them and out farming the Gyrocopter XP-wise. Right now, this is not what you're looking for if you are the Dire. If you are Ducks Unlimited now, this is not what you're looking for at all. And you're going to have to change your entire idea of how you're going around this match. Because now, Hood Rats are the ones who are controlling the pace of this match. They are the ones who are saying, look, you are dancing to our tune, we are setting the pace, and you are adhering to it. So right now, if you are Ducks Unlimited, you have to start thinking, because you were the ones controlling the pace. You were killing tower after tower. Your wards are wearing off. Your map control is deteriorating rapidly. And what are you going to do about it? You have to change your entire train of thought from one of team fight 5-manning towers. You have to turn around. You have to suddenly start thinking about defending towers. You have to think about how you're going to do that, because right now the DPS that comes out from OD, the DPS that comes out from Timbersaw, the lockdown of Rubik and Nyx, and then the initiation from Nyx as well equals a very deadly combination to be stuck against. And if you're not ready for it, then it's going to punish you, and it's going to punish you hardcore. And that is just what happened in that last push. The Radiant, or the Ducks Unlimited were just not ready for the push that came their way. They tried to be, but they simply were not. Meanwhile, OD and Spectre still farming away. And the later we get in this match, the farther this goes, this is going to be a very interesting situation. Because looking at what this is, it's an OD and a Spectre. Not only that, Spectre's one of the hardest carries, if not the hardest carry in this entire game. If you don't stop that Spectre from getting late game, or more clearly, if you don't kill them before it's late game, and you don't deny that Spectre feed hardcore, you're going to have a bad time. Combine that with an OD who's getting his farm, who's owning mid lane right now. Not only that, he has a Force Staff. He can do initiation now. He can Force Staff in and immediately Astral Imprison. Equals, guess what? You're not going anywhere. That gives his team time to set up. Now, smoke comes out in the mid lane, and there wasn't a creep wave to see it. There wasn't anyone to see it. Warrior's right there. They find the Clockwork. Telekinesis comes out. Jakiro's right there. Ice Path going to find out no one, unfortunately. And now Jakiro trying to run away. In comes the OD. One Arcane Orb takes like a fourth of his health away. In comes the Chakram, slows them down. Another Arcane Orb. The heal comes out. Rubik seals in a spell. Now the Arcane Orb sealing him off. Astral Imprisonment comes out. Now this is Razor trying to stay alive here. He gets picked up by the Nyx Impale. Boom! Instantly dead Razor. And what did Rubik steal? He stole Dual Breath. Not exactly Ice Path, so not a better initiation for them. Not some good lockdown. But still Dual Breath that can deal a lot of damage. And now the T3 tower is taking damage. Impale comes out once again. Chin gets caught in it. Force Staff in from the OD. Arcane Orb coming out like crazy. Mech gets popped. Is it enough? It simply might not be. It is, because he backs off fast enough. Homing Missile comes out. Gyrocopter. Clockwork hook shots in. Finds the OD. No, finds the Spectre, actually. Does he deal enough damage? He doesn't deal enough damage. He goes down. Jhin goes down. Gyro's trying to back off. Jakiro goes down. Spectre's pursuing the Gyro. Here he comes. He is running as fast as he can. Gyro gets body blocked temporarily. Razor comes in to save his bloody life. Razor of the block. But Razor, he can't do anything to deny that TP, so Spectre's just going to TP out, and now Spectre has a Manta style just to throw the icing on the cake. Chin creep, though, able to net Rubik. He doesn't even get out of there. And mid tower going to survive. In the meantime, though, bot T2 tower looks like gonna go down, giving just another tower to the Radiant here. And right now, the net worth of OD and Spectre is just through the roof. It is absolutely running away with it. Spectre, he's got his Manta style. He's got his Vanguard. Now Timbersaw, he's got a Bloodstone. As if he wasn't enough DPS already, as if he wasn't scary enough already, he has a bloody Bloodstone. Which I guess that goes together quite well, since it's a Bloodstone after all. But either way, Whirling Death comes out, clearing Creep Wave mid. And right now, looking at this, yeah, no, not a situation you exactly want to get stuck in if you are the Dire. Especially now that OD, what is he building into at this point? He's got a Mystic Staff, and is he building into... Oh, he's going to be building into Scythe of Vice, actually. Oh god, I should have known that. Either way, so yeah, Scythe of Vice going to be coming out from OD. It looks like he is going to... I'm not going to say he's going to go full hard carry. He's acting more as a semi-carry, so he's going to grab the Scythe of Vice. Meanwhile, Clockwork gets caught out. In comes the Razor. They're trying to get the Spectre, but they can't deny the TP. Again, they need to be able to deny the TP. Net and Snare was on cooldown. Oh, it was only one of them was on cooldown. Chin could have gotten the ensnare there, but he missed it. So no ensnare, and they're not going to get a Spectre kill out of that in exchange for a Clockwork kill. And Clockwork is one of the fundamental members of the Dire team here. He acts as the tank. He acts as the initiator. So when your initiator is gone, when you no longer have that Clockwork to initiate the fights for you, well, it's not going to be a very good day for you. Oh, Jakiro gets caught out. In comes Nyx Assassin. Now Chen trying to stay alive, pops the Hand of God, but it's just not enough. He goes down. Creep wave gets cleared almost instantaneously. Flare comes in from Clockwork, but what does it even matter? Now the creep wave is pushing. They're pushing it hardcore. They want this T2 tower, and if you are the Dire right now, if you're Ducks Unlimited, what can you exactly do to stop this? You're down 2 heroes in the next 10 seconds, and they're pushing all the way to the tower right now. If you have them TP in at the last moment, well, you can do a 5v4, but it requires you to have immaculate timing on this, and right now, they're just setting up for it. Their heroes are just running in, and the tower is already about to start taking damage because in comes the creep wave. Flare shot lands on him, dealing a little bit of damage. Razor right here in the jungle almost gets caught out, gonna have to pop his spell. Runs out of mana, actually. Razor has no mana going into this fight, so there's gonna be no static link for the time being. Meanwhile, the creep wave gets cleared. Tower's gonna start taking no damage. Chakram comes out from Timbersaw. Going into this fight, how's it gonna turn out? Because, I mean, hero catapult. Just gotta point it out. Hero catapults! Chakram comes out once again, clear away the trees. Tower is still absolutely safe. Black Cannon came out from Gyro to clear the creep wave. And right now, this is just a standoff between the two teams. Radiant wants to push this. Razor gets a little bit of mana. Static Link comes out. Spell Steal. He stole Static Link. That is a Rubik with a Static Link, and that can be very scary. If you're a Gyrocopter, if you get Static Linked, if you lose all of your damage going into this fight, OD and Spectre are going to annihilate you in an instant.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Going into fights, that's why Razor was so powerful, because he had that Static Link. He could deny damage like crazy if he got the Static Link off. Which going into fights, well, if you're going to commit to a fight, Static Link's going to drain your damage, but if you half commit to it, that's what they're looking to do. Oh, Nyx Assassin! Back an entire team, I take that back, entire team comes in. OD, Nyx Assassin, Rubik, Dagon on the Nyx, it sounds like. Yep, so he's going pure DPS, pure burst damage Nyx Assassin. And right now, not if you're a Gyro, but if you are, even if you're a Razor, if you're a Chen, if you're a Jakiro, having to deal with a burst damage Nyx Assassin is scary as about as much as it can get. Meanwhile, top T tower or T2 tower taking damage. Creep wave pushing in for both sides. Tower's gonna go down. Razor's right there. Chakram came out. Nyx Assassin looking for that impale. Instead, Shadowblade gets popped. They don't have any detection. Astral Imprisonment comes out on the Gyrocopter. Gyro gets impaled. In comes the DPS. Instant death. Dagon gets popped. OD of the Arcane Orbs. Gyro drops like a rock. Ice Path comes out. Timbersaw gets caught directly in it. Clockwork thinks about hook-shotting, decides better of it, and now it looks like the Dire Ducks Unlimited are just going to try and maintain the high ground right now. And looking at this, is that something they can really do right now? They need to try and defend this tower. They need to stay alive. They're down a hero against the 5-man. And in the meantime, he doesn't have Haunt up, actually. Spectre is in the mid lane. He's pushing your mid lane, so they're going to split push this. That's what they're going to try and do. Meanwhile, they're waiting in the top lane for the creep wave to come in, which it has now done. They're pushing in. Flare shot comes out from Clockwork. Chakram flies in, barely hits the Rubik. Or, Razor, excuse me, not the Rubik. Oh, God. Spectre rotating around to the bot lane and start pushing that. Mid lane is pushing in. They rotate down to stop that from pushing in. And in the meantime, Hood Rats are just still trying to deal with this top lane. They're being a giant distraction because Spectre is still farming. And in the end of the day, when Spectre is still farming, he is winning right now because he is still farming. His net worth is still going through the roof. OD might be right here, just pushing this creep wave, but as long as he's doing that, as long as Spectre is getting farmed, one of their two incredibly hard carries is getting farmed. And that's not what you're looking for when you're the Radiant. Stuck on the, or the Dire, stuck on the high ground, trying to maintain your position. Ice Path comes out, nothing happens from it, and still, Ducks Unlimited stuck on the high ground. Spectre split pushing, about to come into that bot tower. Pops his Manta style going in here. Flare shot comes out from Clockwork, starts taking damage. Gyro right there. Black Cannon comes out, clears the creep wave instantaneously, but now they push in top lane. Ice Path comes out from Rubik. He stole the Ice Path. In comes the pickup. Nyx Assassin with his impale catches two. Razor about to go down. Chen already gone down. In comes the Haunt, actually. Manta style is looking to come in once again. Gyrocopter just unable to get away. Spectre, so many kills. A triple kill for Spectre. Clockwork goes down to the Timbersaw. Now the top tower is exposed. No, the creep wave actually pushed out. Trollolol creep wave. And GG is being called. And with only 5 seconds to say it, that is going to be the end of round one. Going the way of the Hood Rats.
Radiant victory.
Looking at it, it ended up being 34-7. Gold Pep ending up with about 20,000 XP graph, over 30,000 XP at the 30-minute mark in the way of the Radiant. I mean, they just survived the early game, they survived the mid game, and their 2 hard carries came online. And when you are Ducks Unlimited, that's not a situation that you want to run into. Alright guys, we will be right back with match number 2.
I'm a medieval man. I'm a medieval man. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Why do you keep touching me? What
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for match number 2 between Ducks Unlimited and the Hood Rats. Because I hope you guys are ready, because already we are into the draft, and it's already taking a rather sharp turn from what it was in our last match. Still, the band's almost as stereotypical as it could be. I just have to relate back as a note. Come on, not even a comment in chat about listening to I'm a Medieval Man. That's the most quirky little song I could possibly find in the history of existence, and no one even makes a comment about it. Either way, looking back at the pickups so far, already Nature's Prophet and Luna getting picked up by Ducks Unlimited. OD, the first pickup once again for Hood Rats. What are they going to follow this up with? Do they need the same amount of carry as last time around? I don't know. I think it's time to find out, don't you? Still, I like the Nature's Prophet pickup, and I like the Luna pickup. I find it strange they haven't actually deviated at all to try and ban any of the heroes they faced off against last match. Especially since the OD was the same first pickup as last time. You would think since they've picked him up the first time, well, maybe we should change our ban ever so slightly so we ban OD first and get him out of the way. I guess in this situation, Ducks Unlimited just decided that it wasn't actually OD that was their threat, it was the Spectre, and it was the combination of those three heroes just working in tangent to deal so much damage. And moving forward, it'll be an interesting few pickups to see how that goes. Timber saw their second pickup this time instead of their fourth, so they're going to grab their offlaner right off the bat here. And again, if they don't have Timbersaw on their offlane, well, I mean, he could go mid lane, he could go safe lane. You can throw Timbersaw in many, many places, but he's most effective off lane because of that Timber Chain, because of his damage output. So throwing him anywhere else, in my opinion, would be a mistake.
5 seconds remaining.
Really, it'll depend on the pickups. I have to say that. It'll depend on the pickups from Ducks Unlimited. They've already picked up a Nature's Prophet. They already have their off lane. They've already picked up a Luna. They already have their safe lane carry. Now it's just looking into what they're going to pick up for the next few heroes, because as we've seen from the last match, Hood Rats, they're very good at doing unexpected things, such as picking 2 incredibly hard carries to counter your one counter your one hard carry. And then they did a great job of just outlasting you through the entire early and mid game and laughed at you maniacally as late game, guess what happened? They kind of rolled your face. Sorry, Ducks Unlimited, it's just true. They kind of turned it around in the space of 5 minutes.
10 seconds remaining.
Either way, next few ban-outs just occurring now. Second phase, going pretty well actually. Kunkka going to get banned out. Kunkka's kind of an interesting ban-out, because there aren't many competitive players in the world who actually like to see Kunkka actually get picked up, and as far as I know, there's only one that really, really likes to have Kunkka get picked up. So banning out Kunkka, a little bit of a less common ban-out compared to the Coddle, the Lone Druid. Both of those are extremely common ban-outs in competitive, simply because no one likes the counter push of Keeper. No one likes the jungling, the bear, the entanglement from Lone Druid.
Team pick.
Now Rubik going to be the next ban-out, actually. That's a little bit of an unexpected one. Not going to give them Rubik of all heroes? Aw. I like Spellsteal. I like his versatility. So what are they going to do as an offsides? Like, what are they going to grab now? Nature's Prophet, he could go offlane, he could go jungle, any of those two options, so he could act as either a support or an offlaner if he really needed to. More common than not, he won't act as a support though, so still 2 supports needed, and they're banning out supports themselves? They're going to pick up the Enigma though, so already they're going to have at least 1 support going into laning phase. And my guess here is going to be an Enigma Luna going to support that dual, or going to support the safe lane. And it's almost uncommon at this point, to my knowledge, that Ducks Unlimited go anything but tri-lane. So they still have 2 more pickups. They could go non-tri-lane. This could be a dual lane from them, but it's highly uncommon from what I've seen. So we will see what they do.
10 seconds
and if they decide to go non-tri-lane. And with a hero like Nature's Prophet, they could either get another off-laner and have an actual off-lane, or they could have Nature's Prophet go off-lane and be supported in a dual lane. It can change depending on how they decide this. Nyx Assassin, next pickup here for the Hood Rats. Again with the Nyx Assassin too. They've picked 3 of the 5 heroes they used in the last match. It's almost like they're trying to build the exact same team. Unfortunately, they can't do that anymore if the Rubik ban out. So they're not trying to do that anymore, but what are they going to change up? Last time, they did 2 very hard carries supported by a Rubik Nyx Timbersaw. Now, how are they going to change that up?
Radiant
Because Nyx
team
Assassin and
pick.
Timbersaw are still a very deadly combination in tandem, or yeah, just together, because they deal so much DPS. The initiation from Nyx combined with the initiation from Timbersaw equals, oh hey, there's a Nyx in my face, he just impaled me. Oh hey, now there's a Timbersaw, I didn't see him, he just timber chained onto my face. That's rather painful. And looking at their counter pickups, an Enigma and a Pugna. Now, I agree wholeheartedly with the
10
Enigma
seconds
pickup in
remaining.
the sense that he's a support. What I don't so much agree with is they already have a Nature's Prophet.
5
So
seconds
grabbing an
remaining.
Enigma. Oh, the Bane pickup. I was actually about to say,
Dire
if they
team
hadn't gone
ban.
with an Enigma, I would have rather seen the Bane. He still has a lockdown ult, not quite as AoE, I mean, it's not a black hole, but Fiend's Grip combined with Nightmare, combined with Brain Sap, combined with Enfeeble, equals Bane is the living essence of lockdown
10
and
seconds
denial.
remaining.
And in a lineup like this, I mean, yeah, initiation,
5
like,
seconds
you initiate with
remaining.
Black Hole, followed up by Starfall from Luna, followed up by the Nuke from Pugna, and then you can combine that with Nature's
Reserve
Prophet ult,
time.
and suddenly you have a lot of DPS coming out at the same time, a lot of team fight. But let's look at what the other side has. They have Sanity's Eclipse, they have Bane, they have Nyx, they have Timbersaw, Chakram from Timbersaw, Whirling Depth, followed up by anything from Nyx Assassin. If he goes Burst DPS Nyx again, I mean, he just initiates, he goes in.
Radiant
Even
team
Dead is in,
ban.
followed by Impale, followed by Dagon equals dead support. You combine that with the fact that Bane
Dire
can come
team
in,
pick.
Nightmare Nightmare the semi-carry, Nightmare the offlaner, and then just Fiend's Grip the carry, and boom, dead carry. Because that means OD comes in with Arcane Orb, Sanity's Eclipse. He just comes in and will wreck house. And right now, when you're Ducks Unlimited, what are you building into to try and counter that? You have Luna, you have Nature's Prophet. It's going to depend on split push, and that's why I don't exactly agree with the. I mean,
10 seconds
in the name of
remaining.
split push, I can agree with Enigma because he'll have his minis. He can push the lane a little
5
bit harder,
seconds
but there's
remaining.
other heroes who can accomplish that exact same task better. And so, looking at this, I would
Reserve
rather have
time.
not seen the Enigma pickup. I still like the Pugna pickup, actually. But comparatively, like, there are other heroes that they could have grabbed now to try and counter this lineup from Hoodrats, which they've taken, I mean, 3 out of the 5 heroes they've picked last game. So, the only way this could get better is if they picked Spectre
Radiant
again, which
team
they
pick.
could do if they really wanted to. Now, if they will, I mean, that's something completely different. Undying is going to be the final pickup here, and I think that's going to seal the deal on the fact that they're going to have an off-lane Undying, jungling Nature's Prophet, safe lane Luna, Enigma, Pugna as a tri-lane. At this point, I think that's absolutely going to happen. Now,
10 seconds
other
remaining.
than the sound of pings going in the pingings going on in the
5
background,
seconds remaining.
what will the final pickup be for the Hoodrats? And at this point, it could be a majority of things. They have a mid
Reserve
OD,
time.
they have a Timbersaw as their offlane, they have support Nyx Assassin and Bane, so it's going to depend on what their final pickup is in the sense that they're probably going to go for either another hard carry or a semi-safe lane carry, which they could still do. And again, it all depends on how versatile they feel like being, because in this situation, Ducks Unlimited, their team fight compared to what Hoodrats have, in my opinion, is actually a little bit weaker right now. And it's going to be a final pickup for Alki. Indeed. Alki, here to wreck your day. One of my favorite things to talk about with Alki is just why teams pick him. Alki, he comes online incredibly fast. If he goes farm Alki, Greevil's Greed, combined with Hand of Midas, and all of a sudden, Alki is going to hit like
Prepare for
500
battle.
GPM if he plays it right. And if we're looking at TI3, Alki is going to hit 900 GPM. Thankfully, this isn't TI3, so the likelihood of him hitting 900 GPM is vague, if nothing. Oh, immediately, we're going to see a smoke come out. A smoke from Ducks Unlimited. Where are they going? What are they doing? What are you doing, Ducks? Are they going for Roshan? Are they going to try and do this? They're smoked. They're going in. They're going into Roshan. Are they going to do this? Enigma creeps come out. One Treant gets sacrificed. They go in. They're going to try and do this. Level 1 Roshan. Luna's already in here, dealing some of that DPS. Undying going to tank it for the time being. Pugna there for support. They're going to try and rotate off.
30 seconds.
Tango's Zipper, Undying's got his salve, Treant's gonna go down here. Meanwhile, I don't think the Radiant, I don't think Hoodrats have any idea this is happening, and it looks like they don't. They're set up for regular laning, and right now Timbersaw's up here top lane, about to deny the camp, but they don't even realize this is happening. They have no idea that there's a level 1 Roshan going on. just not prepared for this. Roshan is healing. Will it be fast enough? Out comes the Pugnanuke. It's going to be close. Sterling's taking a lot of damage, and there goes the level 1 Roshan. Aegis getting picked up by Nature's Prophet. Level 1 Roshan occurring for what I think is the first time in the league. Timbersaw, he got his wards off perfectly. Top camp, blocked. Ward, or rune, warded. Meanwhile, there is one defensive ward, actually very defensive ward, out for the Ducks Unlimited right now, and they're just trying to rotate back into lane, which right now it looks like they're actually going to put the Nature's Prophet off lane, which, considering what they have an Undying. Yeah, they're going to use the Undying as support for Luna, which is kind of a weird decision in my opinion, but I've seen weirder things, so having Undying go safe lane with Luna and Enigma in this case could work out very well. And actually, Enigma's going to be busy jungling. So realistically, it's not even going to be Enigma in lane with them. What it's going to be is it's going to be an Enigma jungling and then coming in for support if they need it. And right now, Timbersaw, he gets to have fun dealing with this dual lane. Undying is going to be able to deal a lot of damage to him. With that, DK, I'm sorry, you liked health, you liked strength. Nah, you don't deserve either of them. And now Luna hopefully going to get plenty of free farm out of this. So far, she hasn't actually anything. Alki's actually the one leading the farm right now down in that safe lane. He's already 7-2. He's got 1 level of Greevil's Screed, 1 in Unstable Concoction. So it looks like this Alki might be going Farm Alki. And we all know why we love Farm Alki. Because, oh, I'm sorry, you weren't expecting Alki to have every item he could possibly need by 15 minutes. Well, I'm Farm Alki. That's what I do. Boom. Farm Alki. Now OD just trying to match farm with a Pugna in mid. Poor Pugna. And indeed, this tri-lane, this defensive tri-lane is starting to push the lane quite aggressively. Trion's going to get popped by Nature's Prophet. In comes the Unstable Concoction. Nightmare on the Nature's Prophet. Concoction gets thrown. Nature's Prophet tries to make a run for it. Impale comes in. Aegis gets popped. And now they're just going to back off after they pop that Aegis. Thankfully, Nature's Prophet, not a worry in the world. I got Aegis. What you gonna do about it? That's pretty much what he just said there. Meanwhile, Enigma right here, still farming the jungle, just right nearby the Timbersaw. He already has level 2 Timber Chain, so its range is getting larger by the moment. Stun comes out from Luna, or Starfall more correctly. Or Lucent Beam, it's not Starfall anymore. I keep remembering Dota 1, Warcraft 3, bring back Starfall! Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Too much more. Either way, the game taking its own turn right now as Enigma sits right here. Are they looking for a gank out of this? And furthermore, what is that ward exactly? See, oh, the ward unfortunately doesn't actually cover anything but this little tree, so they don't see the Enigma, they don't actually know he's there. Meanwhile, down in bot, Nature's Prophet playing very aggressively once again. Impale was on cooldown though, and Nightmare was out of range, so Nature's Prophet able to make it out of there quite safely. Now, Decay comes out, in comes the Enigma, Lucent Beam gets dropped, he just backs off actually. No Malefice. Excuse me one moment. Now, this is the power of Timbersaw. He can back off, and in case of emergency, he's got Timber Chain! You thought you could kill him before. Well, you're not going to kill him now. And oh, he's actually going very aggressively forward. If he gets caught out here, this could go badly. Lucent Beam comes out, there's the tree wall, and he's going to be the first blood to Luna. And indeed, he goes a little bit too aggressive, gets called out by the Nature's Prophet, and then ends up being a very bad day to be a Timbersaw. Now the creep wave comes in, towers are taking damage. Meanwhile, bot lane is pushing in. Bane and Alki doing their best, and Alki actually with 1 level of Greevil's Greed, and he has a ring of health now, so he's building slowly into what he needs to do. However, he's not going to go pure farm Alki as I suspected he would. He is going to go into a more DPS-oriented Alki, a teamfight-oriented Alki more correctly, and they're still pushing this lane. This is a very aggressive push. 4 heroes in lane, and they might be going for this second TT, or for this first T2 tower. Creep wave comes in for the reinforcement. Trion's still there, more available if need be. Timbersaw the only one here. Whirling Death coming out. T1 tower, bot T1 tower taking damage here. Nyx Assassin and Alki doing their best to kill the creep wave. Actually looks like Bane having to back off. He is low on health.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's
dear.
bottom tower
Timbersaw
has
comes in.
fallen.
He just has enough pull right now. He has enough lane denial that he is actually denying this
Dire's
bot or
bottom
top
tower
lane from
is
pushing
under
in right
attack.
now. They are trying. They're looking for a gank as well. No Lucent Beam right there. Timbersaw still had Timber Chain, so that would have been a very easy escape if it had happened. Instead,
Dire's
Timbersaw's just going to
bottom
try and
tower is
back
under
off here.
attack.
Tower goes down, and that is 2
Radiant's
towers
top tower
immediately.
has
Top lane
fallen.
is just gone, and only one T1 tower going down bot lane. Nature's Prophet going to try and push out here, going back against the Alki. Alki is actually very far forward. If he gets caught out, that could go badly for him, and instead he just backs off. And indeed, he's not actually going Hand of Midas at the moment. He got a Ring of Health right now. He could still rotate into it, and he's getting gold. In comes the Unstable Concoction. Is Nature's Prophet ready for this? Stun comes out. Acid Spray not even going to bother. Alki just backs off. Nature's Prophet going to push out once again, because that's what the Creep Wave is doing. Nature's Prophet, on the other hand, going straight for Hand of Midas, citing there's nothing more in my favor than going for Hand of Midas, which is indeed a very common strategy for Nature's Prophet. Hand of Midas, just the gold bonus it gives him early on, is so powerful, and I didn't really talk about it, but that's the gold advantage those 2 towers just gave them. That was the first Timbersaw kill, followed quickly by tower, followed by another tower, equals, oh god, gold graph. OD rearing his head, showing that he has his Astral Imprisonment. Now, he's even got his Sanity's Eclipse. There's 4 heroes now. They're going to go for a mid lane push. They decided last game just wasn't aggressive enough. We're going to go more aggressive. Because when you're dealing with an Alki and an OD, I mean, in this case, OD's going to be the harder late game carry, but for God's sakes, you're dealing with 2 very hard carries, and it can... I mean, it'll just be deadly if you let it get late game. And they're going to push it. They're going to be extremely aggressive about this. And when it comes to that, I mean,
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Hood Rats are doing exactly what they need to be doing.
Dire's
The
top
Hood Rats
tower
are
is under
split pushing
attack.
like crazy. They've got Alki down in bot lane. They've got Timbersaw up in top lane. TPs are coming in. Now Timbersaw TP'd back mid. It's going to be 5v5, or no, 5v4 actually, and they're not even going to risk it. They just back off. Nature's Prophet TPing out to that bot lane. Going to try and deal with the Alki once again, denying him as much farm as possible. Oh, did he? Yep, out comes the courier. And it looks like he may have his hand. He does indeed have his Hand of Midas now. So Nature's Prophet going to have that hand. In comes Luna. They're all rotating bot. Going to push out this lane at the same time. They just left Pugna mid to try and deal with that. And this is going to be a very interesting situation. Ducks Unlimited really showing they got a level 1 Roshan. Not only that, but they're trying to push lanes as hard as they can. They are going the most aggressive they possibly can do. Meanwhile, Alki's trying to farm the jungle here. He's got a Claymore, so he's building into his Shadow Blade. Skipping Hand of Midas, completely going completely team fight oriented Alki. Smoke coming in from Nyx Assassin Bane, and right behind them, entire team.
Radiant's bottom tower
Are there any
is under
TPs?
attack.
Nature's Prophet has it. Enigma gets caught out. Nightmare comes out. Sandy's Eclipse pops on the Nightmare. It doesn't do anything. Undying coming in. Tombstone gets popped. They're trying to retreat behind it here. Undying pulling back. Unfortunately, the Undead just not doing enough right now. Undying going... No, Nature's Prophet actually getting caught out. Undying already gone. Pugna comes back in. Trying to save the Luna here. Luna still in the fights. Now, Timbersaw goes down. It's a 2-for-1 engagement so far. 3-for-1, actually. Undying going to get another kill. Undying getting another kill on the Nyx Assassin. And what turned out to be a perfect gank for the Radiant turned around completely. And the Dire are going to completely own that fight. The Tombstone came out, slowing everything down, dealing damage. Lucent Beam, just enough team fight happened there, and they fell. I mean, it wasn't exactly they fell apart. They only lost 1 hero, the Nature's Prophet, and he's already back because he's Nature's Prophet, and he's got his Hand of Midas. So his GPM is going to start spiking soon. 1 TP in, that's going to be Timbersaw. What's he going to look for here? Luna trying to fall back, gets caught out by the Chakram. They turn around. Timbersaw trying to deal as much DPS as he can. Quelling Blade comes out, or not Quelling Blade, but it's Timbersaw. He clears trees like crazy. Nature's Prophet getting caught out. There's the Chakram once again. Nyx Assassin, Timber Chain, gonna get the kill confirmed there on Nature's Prophet. Nyx solo, kill confirmed from the Enigma creeps. Gonna get split between Nature's Prophet and Enigma, actually, so it might have just been the regular creeps. Now OD comes in once again. He gets hit by Lucent Beam. Luna gonna try and catch up here, but it's simply not gonna happen. Treant's gonna back off, gonna push the lane once again. And this has been a very Ducks Unlimited oriented early game here. This has gone about as much in their favor as you would hope not to have happen. Now the creep wave is pushing in. Enigma leading the charge here. Undying as well. Nature's probably going to TP in here. Acid Spray comes out. Treon's going to start pushing. Tower's already halfway down. Now it's 2/3 down. Tower's taking a lot of damage. Nature's Prophet ult comes out. Hits the OD head on. Meanwhile, trees, Tombstone gets popping through a lot of trees here. Tower goes down, and this is Ducks Unlimited. They're just gonna fall back. They got a tower. That's 3v, or not 3v7, but 3-2-7 now. They got kills out of that. That's exactly what they're looking for. Meanwhile, the Hood Rat's really convinced right now that they're really convinced that Ducks Unlimited are the ones looking to push and that they're going to continue pushing. They are all on this bottom T2 tower right now. They're not even getting off it at the moment. That's how convinced they are. The Ducks Unlimited are just not where they're supposed to be. They're in the jungle. They're trying to push, and Hood Rat's playing this very paranoid right now. And their carry, for a few moments there, OD wasn't actually farming. He wasn't doing exactly what OD needed to be doing. He wasn't out farming. Which right now, Luna and Nature's Prophet are the ones leading the network. Looking at GPM, Luna's leading GPM as well. Nature's Prophet right behind. GPM, it's actually Timbersaw and OD. They're doing a great job of farming, but they need to keep doing a great job of farming. If they can out-farm Ducks Unlimited here, it's going to be like a repeat of last game. The only difference so far is last game, OD and Timbersaw, or more correctly Alki instead of Timbersaw, would have had the highest GPM as well as the highest XP per minute. And arguably that's why it went so wrong late game, is because they led GPM early game as well as late game. And this time that's simply not happening. So looking at how we go into the mid game, Ducks Unlimited, they're pushing towers like crazy. Are they in advantage of XP? No, XP is basically 0. If it's less than 1,000, it's essentially neutral in my opinion. Anything other than that, and it's essentially null. So XP advantage, nowhere whatsoever. Gold, though, still heavily in favor of Ducks Unlimited due to the tower. And, I mean, Hood Rats, they have pushed the bot T1 tower. They have pushed the, or no, they haven't actually pushed the mid T1 tower at all. And they haven't pushed top T1 at all either. They've only taken one tower. So that gold advantage only going to get worse as Ducks Unlimited, they push towers. And right now, this is a moment where Ducks Unlimited should be pushing, actually. And they're a little bit apart, is the word I'm going to use. Out comes the smoke, and they're going to be looking to make something out of this. Oh, the OD runs right into them. The smoke gets popped. Nuke comes out. Astral imprisons himself, trying to get away. No tombstone to slow him down. Nothing else that's going to stop this. He has his power treads. In comes the Impale, catches out the Undying. Pugna still pursuing, trying to get his nuke down. In comes the Nature's Prophet, but he TP'd to the wrong location. That was actually a very nice move by OD to rotate to the upper pathway instead of the lower. If he'd gone to the lower, he would have been completely caught out by that Nature's Prophet. Now the Nyx Assassin trying to retreat. Retreats right by the Nature's Prophet, actually. And he's going to start pursuing. He's scouting as much as he can. Sentry Ward is out for Hood Rats, not Ducks Unlimited, so there's no vision for Ducks Unlimited this time. And the ward coverage actually about to wear off in 40 seconds for Hood Rats. And I'd like to take this moment really to recognize the fact that Hood Rats have superior wards by far. They have the bot rune warded, they have the top rune plus a little bit of mid lane warded. So they know what's going on in mid, they know what's going on in top rune, and they have great vision of the river. So they're going to see what's going on at pretty much all times. What they don't have vision of is the lane itself. Thankfully they have creep waves to do that. Timbersaw missing his Timber Chain, missing the Chakram, and there's no way they're going to catch this Luna, who has Drums of Endurance and has, I mean, just boots in general. The state of it all. How many players still have brown boots? Well, the answer to that is 3 players on Hood Rats, and I feel like I should point this out that Unlogical, the Enigma, doesn't actually have boots at all. It's the 13-minute mark and you don't have boots. In this situation, Enigma, he's the one grabbing the wards. He got the mech, he's got the soul ring, and he's also buying the smokes. This is one of those things where I need to point out, you have a fellow support. All of the supports are supposed to share the responsibility of getting the wards. It's not supposed to be an onerous task. It's not supposed to be one support. So the fact that one support is bearing all of it, and finally he actually has boots. He just got his boots. They're on the way on the courier. And in the meantime, Roshan goes down once again. That ward, remember that ward I talked about that was wearing off in 40 seconds? Well, it wore off, and unfortunately, Hood Rats just were not aware that was happening, and this time it is going to be Luna with the Aegis, so it's going to be a nigh-on unkillable Luna for the time being. Plus, she's picking up her BKB right now, and going into the mid-game, that's going to deny the DP or the concoction route. It's going to deny Sandy's Eclipse. It's going to deny pretty much anything Bane can do with Beam Scrim. It's going to deny all the DPS from Timbersaw. Going into mid-game, that BKB is going to be incredibly useful. They need to finish the BKB. Chakra comes down from Timbersaw on the high ground. Blitz gets popped. They're right behind the tower. TP in from Nyx Assassin. Tombstone's already out in the field. Tower goes down. Impale comes out. It hits the Luna. Chakra goes and lands directly on them. Alki comes in. Concoction lands. It's just not fast enough for the Luna. In comes the Sandy's Eclipse. Undying trying to stay alive. Nature's Prophet still here. Aegis gets popped. Now the OD goes down. Nyx Assassin overextends. They get caught out by the Aegis. They get caught out. 2 buybacks coming out. Timbersaw and Nyx Assassin. But the damage has been done. Full team wipe for the Hood Rats here compared to a loss of 2. An Undying and an Enigma. Chakra comes out once again trying to deal damage to that tower. Pugna gonna drop his nuke. He takes a lot of damage. In comes the Whirling Death. Timber Chain right over him. Gets the kill. Lucent Beam comes down from Luna. She's trying to run. Chakra comes out though. Is it going to be up? There's the Timber Chain and there's the kill confirmed onto the Luna. Now Nyx Assassin and Timbersaw pushing very aggressively, trying to move towards the mid lane here. Creep Wave is still all the way down at their T3 for that matter, and it's still another 1 minute, or 1 second, excuse me, no, God, 1 minute until OD comes up. Thankfully, it's only 1 second until OD comes up again. But that was a very successful push. And actually, that wasn't so successful. The Nature's Prophet did just get caught out by the Nyx Assassin. Again, Nyx Assassin, when he gets that burst DPS up, when he has his full level of Impale, when he has Mana, when he has Vendetta on top of that, Nyx Assassin can be very, very scary to deal with when you're a squishy hero, and that's exactly what happened there. But looking at this in the meantime, OD is slowly catching up in net worth, but it's taking him time, and Luna and Nature's Prophet are both still leading, and as far as I'm concerned, Nature's Prophet, it's not actually surprising that Nature's Prophet is leading in net worth. I mean, it's Nature's Prophet. He has his hand of Midas, and he split pushes like crazy with Treants, and he just dominates the lane with said Treants when he actually just feels like farming gold. So Nature's Prophet has no problem getting gold leading in net worth. At the moment, though, he's actually slightly behind Luna, proving that the carry is doing the carry's job.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The T1's trying to take a little bit of damage on the side of the Dire here, while Hood Rats are just trying to farm. They're trying to out-farm them, and they're still doing so, actually. Look at this. God, this graph is just crazy. First it's in favor of the Dire, then it's in favor of Hood Rats, and it's in favor of Ducksoup again. It's just back and forth. This is a sine wave graph, practically. That's how crazy this is right now. And that's how close this is as well. Each time the graph zigs and zags, it's basically neutralizing itself at the same time. As long as that happens, no team really has the advantage. I mean, you can see by the number that Hood Rats technically have the advantage. But comparatively, if the gold, going into mid-game, it's going to be the gold that I'm going to be watching more closely, because it's going to be the gold that's going to make a major difference. Meanwhile, Lucent Beam already counted the game down on DK. Thankfully, Nature's Prophet with that TP, and Chalk going to barely save him. Astral in prison. Actually going to seal the doom of Alki here. Now he's just going to get caught out, Pugna off the nuke. Kill confirmed onto the Alki here, and now it's going to be OD having to back off. They're going to back off all the way to their T3 tower. They don't feel safe in their own jungle. Even with this ward coverage, like looking at their wards, they have a nice defensive ward, second nice defensive ward. They have great jungle vision. And actually, this is more of an offensive ward than a defensive ward for the Dire, that is. Usually you see this more as a Dire ward than a Radiant ward, simply because it covers the bottom of your jungle. A better ward would have been on this little ridge, covering that both directions there. Instead, it's going to be a little bit too defensive.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tombstone gets popped. Tower's taking damage. Flesh Golem comes out from Undying. OD gets caught out. There's the ult from Luna. Eclipse, proving why you don't fuck with Luna. Alki trying to flank. Concoction comes out. Gets the kill confirmed on Nature's Prophet. Trying to slap chop down the Luna, but it's simply not enough damage. Tombstone still out here. Timbersaw comes in. Finally gets the kill on the Luna. Still trying to run away now. Pugna, Timber chains himself out of the way. Undeader pursuing. Trying to slow him down. Pugna coming in. He's taking the short route. Gets the slow. Timber Change is unable to save him. Nuke comes in, and Pugna gets the kill. Ah, Nether Blast. It's so deadly. Combined with Decrepify and Pugna himself. It's a support that's less played, but Pugna, man.
Radiant's middle
And that's
barracks
mid-melee
has
barracks
fallen.
gone. Ranged barracks not far
Radiant's
behind.
middle
This
barracks
time
are
around,
under
in this second
Radiant's
match,
middle barracks
Ducks Unlimited,
has
they're
fallen.
cleaning up their mistakes from the first match, and they are showing why they are here and why that they are still in this league. Because the simple answer to that is preseason, but the secondary answer to that is because they know how to respond. They know how to respond in the fact that they lost the first match. They knew what they did wrong, and they responded to it in kind. And now looking at what's going on, Nature's Prophet almost dead. He has a Shadow Blade now, though. He has a very good escape mechanic. He's able to Shadow Blade his way out. TP out at the last moment from Enigma, almost getting caught out by the OD. If Astral Imprisonment had come out, that would have been a dead Enigma. Thankfully, he's able to get out of there at the very last moment. And now these wards, I mean, these Duck Unlimited wards, they have now taken that offensive ward I was talking about. They've also taken this ward, which has great coverage. It covers the high ground here, it covers the lane itself, and it covers up here to an extent. Meanwhile, this rune coverage, river coverage, nothing bad about that whatsoever. And this ward, don't even get me started on this ward. It almost covers the lane itself, but it covers camp, most of this jungle lane, and just it's so impressive to see these wards coming out from Ducks Unlimited. They've really cleaned up their ward game, and right now, Hood Rats are really fighting to keep map control. They're having a problem with that. Battle Fury just coming out on Alki, so he's going to be able to slap chop just that little bit better. But now, at the same time, BKB coming out from Luna. So, items appearing on both sides of the fights. And going into this, I mean, OD hasn't actually gotten any items he really needs at the moment. He has his Staff of Wizardry, but that's simply not going to be enough going into the mid-game. He has Arcane Orbs, which is going to deal insane amounts of damage. Is that going to be enough for him to make up the difference right now? When Ducks Unlimited are really showing they know what they're doing when it comes to pushing. Nature's Prophet, in the meantime, doing what Nature's Prophet does best, and split pushing. Impale from Nyx is going to deny the lane from pushing temporarily. And right now, I mean, Ducks Unlimited, they're content to sit back and farm, but they can't do that for too long, because if they farm too long, then that's going to give the carries for Hood Rats just a little bit more time to farm up and a little bit more time to get ready for the next coming minutes. Ancient stacks. So many Ancients. Ancients here, Ancients there. Oh, Enigma getting his Blink Dagger. Oh dear. Blink Dagger Enigma. Even though he supports Blink into Black Hole. Oh yes, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Blink into Black Hole. It's deadly. Also, my, look at that beautiful courier. Look at that courier. Just look at it. I'm taking a tangent to look at couriers, that's right. Meanwhile, it must have been off-topic thing. Nyx Assassin gonna have to Vendetta his way out of top lane. A little bit of a waste of Vendetta, but really is a 1 minute cooldown, so Vendetta able to come back from that very quickly. And right now, I mean, Hood Rats, they're trying to get out and farm. They're doing it slowly. Alki's gonna head into the jungle here, and the question now is, can he farm fast enough? Right now, it looks like they've been playing a little bit passive-aggressively, or I should say they've been playing passive-defensively rather than aggressively. They've been sitting back in their base, farming, trying to keep creep waves out, and mid lane's going to be a big problem for them now, because that's mega creeps. OD can't really easily farm this, Alki can't really easily farm this, so it's kind of more time than it's worth to sit in mid lane and farm the mega creeps. It's going to be more of the onerous task of just keeping the mid lane creeps away from your base. And what is that Enigma doing there? Apparently he was dewarding. I guess that's one way you can deward. Just place the sentry ward and then blink onto the high ground. Unfortunately, I don't think there was actually a ward there to begin with. Ah, yes, that's a little bit more of a defensive ward. It'll cover a little bit of the river, covers rune, covers mid lane, so that's more of a ward I would have been looking for earlier from Hood Rats. It's more aggressive, and it actually covers the lane, the river, and the ward itself. Or the rune itself, excuse me. Wow, both teams actually just sitting back and farming right now. And Ducks Unlimited, in the next 30 seconds, they're going to have the advantage, because, hey, look, Roshan is going to be back again. And you know what they want to do with Roshan, and I'll give you a hint. It's not a very pretty thing. And actually, Hood Rat's all rotating over here. And they do get caught up by the Sentry Ward, so that smoke has just been completely invalidated. And the Sentry Ward even gets de-warded by the Enigma spawns, so they're not going to be able to deal with that whatsoever. They're not going to be able to go through that, because they won't be able to find the Sentry Ward, and now they're just going to get spotted out the moment they do. Roshan is back up once again. Nether Ward came out from Pugna to scout that out. And right now, if the Radiant actually see what's going on, and if Hoodrats can realize that Rosh is up, I mean, they might have saved the timer. Chakra comes out. They do scout the Rosh pit. Now the real question is, are they going to try and commit to a Rosh? Both teams are sitting very nearby. They're ready. They are so ready for a Rosh. Nyx is going to Vendetta in by the looks of things. Enigma right there. Sentry Ward went down. In they come. They put down another Sentry Ward. Oh, Nyx, he gets spotted out. Thankfully, he does get on the high ground. He's able to get away from that. He's continuing to rotated between mid and T1 tower. Now his Vendetta wears off. They're pursuing. Luna running so fast. 465 base run speed compared to the 360 of Nyx. Lucent Beam comes down. Luna pursuing. Oh. Almost close enough to be the engagement. Meanwhile, though, they do go into Rosh, and they're going to be looking to make this happen now. Rosh is taking damage. There was a ward out. They get spotted. Timber Saws. He throws his chakra in. It barely hits. Now in they come. The Nether Ward hitting pretty much very cleanly. Black Hole, though. They transition beautifully. BKB comes out. Immediately, Nyx go down. OD right behind. And GG is being called. That is GG from the Hoodrats.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They're not even gonna, I mean, they still have top lane, still have bot lane. They're not even going to bother. They're going to call GG. And that is going to be 1-1 in favor of no one. It's going to be a tie game, but thankfully, it's not a best of 3. It is a best of 2. So, 1-1. Going to go towards both teams here. As per gold next advantage, in the end of things, ended up being about a 14,000 gold advantage, actually, for Ducks Unlimited, and an almost 10k XP advantage for Ducks Unlimited in the very end of things. 10 to 23, and overall, I mean, that was a very interesting game. Hoodrats borrowed heavily, and I mean heavily, from their previous lineup. They had Timbersaw, they had Nyx, they had OD. The only differences were Bane and Alki, and they went with kind of the same lineup in the sense that the same archetypes. And this time around, Ducks Unlimited were able to draft their own lineup that actually countered it very well, and they really did. They punished, and I mean absolutely punished, Hoodrats for just letting them get some early game towers, letting them get that level 1 Rosh, letting them get the next few Roshes for that matter. And right now, that's how this is going to end, 1-1. Either way, my name has been Panksters, guys. Thank you for joining me. I will see you tonight, tomorrow, something like that. I will see you in the future. Good night.